I finally found inventory. It has been a long cold spell, and I'm not just talking about the weather in the last few weeks, but I finally was able to source some quality vintage items for my Etsy shop. But not the kind I used to look for. Not the kind that made up the majority of what I sold in the early months of my shop. Items like this. But now something has changed. I'm sourcing differently because I'm selling different types of items. Every piece I picked up on my most recent sourcing trip has one thing in common. The people who purchase these items from my shop will actually be using them rather than just decorating their homes with them. And this is something I have seen coming for a while now. I guess it really started occurring to me sometime mid-year last year in 2025, and it was confirmed just recently when I really started digging into my sales data. Hi, I'm Carol, and I have a vintage shop on Etsy called V Vintage Collectibles. And here on this channel, I enjoy sharing what I'm learning about selling vintage. I'm still learning this myself, and it seems like I learn something new every day. And by the way, it is a very windy day here in Florida, so if you hear the wind howling in the background, realize there's probably nothing I'll be able to do about it. A few years ago, I was intentionally looking for items like these to source. Cute, well-made, and meant to make someone's home more beautiful. So here's what I think is happening. Over the past few years, more and more of what I sell has moved toward pieces that people actually use. Now, they're still beautiful, they're still vintage, but they're functional. And I was actually surprised to see how much the data from my shop supported what I was seeing in my sales. People are moving from buying items that really can only be used for decorative purposes to items that are more practical, that they can use, if not every day, on special occasions. So look at this data. In 2023, 46% of what I sold was what I'm calling functional, and 54% was decorative. Those numbers flipped in 2024. 54% of what I sold was functional and 46% was decorative. And just a minute, I'll show you what I'm putting in these different categories. In 2025, 60% of what I sold was functional and 40% was decorative. In 2026 to date, that is the 1st of January through about mid-March, 67% of my sales this year have been functional vintage and 33% have been decorative vintage. People are using their homes again. Some of the items that I'm selling that I'm calling functional are items that people use every day. Some come out just for special occasions, and some are given to mark a moment or a special occasion, but none of them are just sitting on a shelf exclusively anymore. Now, I want to be really clear about what I'm calling decorative and what I'm calling functional. Let's take a look at these examples. So when I say decorative vintage, I mean things like porcelain figurines, decorative art glass, collector wall plates, other types of figurines, curio cabinet pieces, little knickknacks, and milk glass or other items that are just used as display and not actually styled to be used. And functional vintage, I'm including in this category things like butter dishes, crystal stemware sets, small trinket catch-all dishes, serving trays, all types of barware, kitchen canisters, everyday storage pieces, and wedding and anniversary gift items, among others. Now, the great thing about this haul is that everything I sourced is very much like items which I have already sold in my shop. So I know there are buyers out there for these types of things. So I will be showing you slides that show the photographs of the items that I've sourced alongside similar items that I've sold already that have helped to make pricing a breeze. Altogether, I spent $87.33 on all of these items, and I have gotten them all listed, and all together they are listed for $392. So at this point, if there are no sales or discounts or anything, I'm anticipating a gross margin of 78%. Now, I want to show you these items that I sourced. A few came from antique stores in Winter Haven, Florida, one week, but most of them actually came from Goodwill in Brandon and in Tampa the next week. Now, Goodwill has been totally dry for me the past few months, and my local Goodwill continues to be dry for me. But I'm happy to report I have actually found a few things that I can list in my shop. And the first grouping, I'm calling these are items that can be used every day. They're small, functional accents like trinket dishes, vases. So the first item is this little vase. Now, this could actually just be decorative and not be used. As you can see, here are the photos I have taken of this item. It is most like a taller etched vase that I sold for $26. Now, I only listed this for $18. I paid $5.50 for it at the Brandon Goodwill. I'm hoping I could sell it for $18. The next item is this Mikasa Crystal Heart trinket dish. Now, I got this at the Tampa Goodwill for $5.33. And here are my product photos. And though my sample item I've already sold is silver plate, it's not glass, it is also a heart-shaped dish. I sold that one for $28. I listed this glass dish for $24. And I have another silver plate dish here. I purchased this at Treasure House Antique Store over in Winter Haven, Florida for $5.51. I have sold so many of these this year. I know I can get $24 for this, and it is going to sell quickly. And next I have this other little Mikasa crystal dish. This is the Diamond Ice Swirl Dish. I got this at Sherman's Antiques in Winter Haven. I paid $5.77 for it. It is very similar, I think, to this pressed glass dish that I sold for $20. I listed this dish, though, for $24 because it is crystal. The other one was just pressed glass. And next, I have my favorite item on this whole haul, and I don't even know if I'm going to leave it up listed. I may just keep it for myself. But this is hammered from the back, a silver plate dish with these beautiful florals inside it, and I think this is so pretty. I got this, again, at Treasure House Antiques in Winter Haven for $5.51. It is a Wallace Silver Company piece, and I have listed this for $30 because there is a lot more workmanship in this than there was in this other little silver plate piece that was similar to it. These are small, simple, everyday pieces that just give you somewhere to put your stuff. They can be ring dishes, small catch-all bowls, little plates on a nightstand for your rings. This is the kind of piece that doesn't look like much until you start using it. These sell because they solve a problem that people deal with every single day. Where do my keys go when I walk in the door? Where do I sit this down so that I don't lose it? Now, I think the people who are buying items like this are probably people who might be setting up their first homes, maybe in apartments, people who are organizing small spaces, condos, maybe even dorm rooms, and gift buyers. Like, this would make a great bridal shower gift. This would make a great hostess gift. And I'm selling these to buyers who already appreciate vintage but want some practical pieces. These people want their spaces to look, put together and feel put together, but they also want their pieces to function. Now, this next group of items I'm going to show you are used mainly for entertaining, certainly when people gather together, even if it's just family. They're used at the table. So let me show you these pieces, starting with these beautiful salt and pepper shakers. These are Avon. I paid $3.40 for this set at the Brandon Goodwill. And here are my product photos. I actually have these listed for $22, just like this set of silver plate salt and pepper shakers that I have previously sold. Now, these Avon salt and pepper shakers are called silver swirls, but they are not actually silver. They're not silver plate even. They're actually glass, because when you unscrew the top, you can see it's got a glass insert with some sort of silverish coating on them. And I picked up a couple different sets of napkin rings. I've sold these exact napkin rings before, and in this set I picked up 11, but one of them was cracked, so I'm selling a set of 10. I paid $8.56 for this set at Sherman's Antiques in Winter Haven, and previously I sold a set of 8 for $36, so I put this set of 10 up for $36 as well, and they should sell pretty quickly. My other napkin rings sold pretty quickly. I like to look for napkin rings, but I don't often find them in sets of more than 4. I really like to be able to buy them in sets of 8 at least if I can. And I was able to find this set of 8 altogether, ceramic napkin rings with gold trim. I paid $8.52 for these ceramic napkin rings, and I have them listed for $24. Continuing with the theme of entertaining pieces, I found this beautiful set of Pilgrim cranberry glass, sugar and creamer, blown glass, $3.14 a piece at the Tampa Goodwill. So altogether, this cost $6.81. I've listed this Pilgrim set at $36 because I think it is much more valuable than the pink milk glass set I sold previously for $28. I also have this Berkeley goblet, and I actually have a set of 2. I'm just showing you one. I was able to get this set for $6.81 from the Tampa Goodwill, and I will be selling this for $28, which is pretty much my normal selling price for a set of stemware. And in addition, I have this beautiful gold-rimmed etched set of goblets. I actually have 2 sets of these, and I paid $6.81 per set, and they also are listed for $28 per set. And the final entertaining piece I have is this lovely silver plate chip and dip server, and if you'll remember, this was a spare bowl I had left over that I sourced in Michigan this winter. I think this was probably something I paid $2 for, and I kept it aside because I knew eventually I would find another one of these dishes, which I did find at the Plant City Goodwill for $5.57, and voila, perfect fit. This chip and dip set I intend to sell for $30, which is what I've sold 2 other sets for in recent months. In fact, the one I sold just previous to this was just a few weeks ago, and I think this will sell really quickly because these seem to be a really popular item at this time. So these are all pieces that come out when people gather together. They're designed for sharing, for serving, and for hosting. People are spending more and more time entertaining at home rather than going out with friends. They're finding that they can eat much more cost effectively at home, and it's quieter and more conducive to conversation with their friends, with their neighbors, with their loved ones at home. So just like our parents did a lot of entertaining with cocktail parties back in the day, people are now discovering that home really is a good place to entertain. and they bring these pieces out when they have people over. Those are the pieces that turn just having people over into having an experience, and people nowadays love having experiences. Whether someone is hosting a book club or a neighborhood get-together or even a family dinner, people are building their homes differently nowadays, and they want pieces that feel special. Younger buyers want to entertain like our parents did, but in a relaxed, personal kind of way. Next, I have a couple of gift items, and I'm counting gift items as functional items because they are bought with a particular purpose in mind. Now, the receiver might use them decoratively, but the buyer is purchasing them as a functional item. I have this cute little 25th anniversary vase that I got at the Brandon Goodwill for $3.19. I have it listed for $20, similar to another bud vase that I sold for $20 as well. And I have this lovely little heart-shaped 25th anniversary gift trinket dish also. Very similar to another one that I've sold in the past. This I also paid $3.19 for, and it is listed for $20. Now, you're probably thinking like I was, are people really buying more functional items, or is that just something that is happening in my shop because that's what I'm sourcing? But the one thing I know for sure is that I am sourcing these items because they have been selling. Decorative items, not so much. Now, I've read a lot of articles lately because this is something that really interests me. And the move towards functional vintage might actually be a trend. Now, from what I'm researched, a trend is something that doesn't just happen over a few months, but it might take 2 or 3 years to really set a trend. I'm seeing a real shift towards how people are using their homes. And in my next video, I want to show you why I think the dinner table is making a comeback, not just for family meals, but for entertaining. So I'll see you next week for a deeper dive, and we'll explore evidence that the dinner table and entertaining really are making a comeback. Thanks for being here today.